What's going on today, YouTube? Today we're going to be doing the Kansas City Chiefs record prediction and season overview. I believe the Chiefs are going to have a lot more trouble than a lot of people think with losing Tyreek Hill and Tyrann Mathieu. I do believe Justin Reed will be a fine, better than serviceable, but not a exact match replacement for Tyrann Mathieu. But in my eyes, I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is the replacement for Tyreek Hill or Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I think the closest you're going to get to seeing anywhere the type of production Tyreek had with Patrick Mahomes would be Sky Moore, the rookie. But even then, he's a rookie. He's got to acclimate to the NFL level. I just don't see the production increasing or even, being remotely the same as last year with Tyreek gone. I think Tyreek Hill was probably the best meshing receiver with Patrick Mahomes' strength, with his strong arm, his ability to pinpoint passes, his playmaking ability with Tyreek Hill's speed and hands. I just think those two were made for each other essentially. And now that he is in Miami and no longer a Chief, I believe the Chiefs' offense will have a hard time. Also, I just got tongue-tied. I was going to say also, but then I was going to say as well. And so it just like jumbled into also, but I was like also. Anyway, the Chiefs lacking a true RB1, I think, is going to hurt them. And the opponents you can see on their schedule are not going to be forgiving for not having a run game. As you can see, like the Chargers, the Colts, the Bucks, the 49ers, Chargers again, the Rams, the Bengals, the Broncos again, the Raiders even have very strong pass rushers and passing defenses. Raiders are not really in the passing defense, but the pass rushers with Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. Passing majority of the time on most of their opponents is going to be pretty tough. And while you could say they've been passing on all their opponents mainly for the past three or 4 years, yeah, but you also had Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill is a game changer. He can open the box more. So let's get into the record prediction. Obviously, you can see on the screen I have them winning in Arizona week 1. I just don't think the Cardinals defense is good enough to keep up with the Chiefs offense, even with losing Tyreek Hill. And without D-Hop, I don't think that offense is going to be as explosive. But we'll have to see how Marquise Brown, or a.k.a. Hollywood, does in that offense. You obviously still have A.J. Green, Zach Ertz, James Conner is still there. Then you have Rondale Moore, who's a second-year player, another year in the offensive scheme. So we'll just have to see how things pan out for the Cardinals. But I do believe they lose week 1, have a tough loss or a tough break getting Chiefs week 1. And then I have them losing to the Chargers week 2. I just believe the Chargers are going to be absolutely stacked this year. They added Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. They added Zion Johnson in the draft, so their left guard, pretty much the left side of their line, is solidified with top 2 center Corey Linsley. And then Rashawn Slater had an amazing rookie year, and now Zion Johnson, if he can pan out as a rookie or play, better than above average, you have a solid left side of the line, and then your right side of the line is a little bit more of a question mark. But this is not the Chargers video. But then you look at more of the defensive pieces for the Chargers against the Chiefs offense. You have Derwin James, J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel played great last year. And you have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Kenneth Murray in the backside of that front seven. So I just think with Derwin James, Kenneth Murray being able to focus on Travis Kelce, and then J.C. Jackson truly being able to lock down Juju Smith-Schuster or Sky Moore or Marquez Valdes-Scantling, whoever becomes that wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs this year, for the first part of the season, as it could change, obviously, with injuries and stuff. I just think the Chargers are going to be way too powerful, especially with that offense. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett comes over. Like I already talked about the offensive line, and then, of course, Jay Herbo. It's just going to be too overpowering for most of the Chargers teams this year. Anyway, let's go into week 3 against the Annapolis Colts. You're away at the Colts. Or you're at the Colts. Jeez, oh, Pete. I do believe you lose or you win that game. Oh, my Lord, I'm getting backwards. Matt Ryan, I think, is going to be a great addition to that Colts offense, but I don't think it'll be enough to put him in that top echelon of AFC contenders. But I do believe it will help. Week 4 against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think Tom Brady is just getting to that point. And, people say it every year, and I haven't been one of those people the last few years, but I think this year he retired after the season for a reason. He's coming back, running back because he can't stay away from football. They lose Gronk. Chris Godwin's supposed to be available week 1, or that's a rumor that he could be available week 1. Plus, they just added Julio Jones. They got Lenny Fournette back. Mike Evans, of course, is still there. They brought in Kyle Rudolph. I think that's it. And then they lost Ryan Jensen for the season, which is nuts. I actually know Ryan Jensen's brother in real life because Ryan Jensen went to CSUP. His brother Seth is a cop here in Colorado. I just lost my train of thought talking about how I know the family of Ryan Jensen. Anyway, then you go to the defense. You still got Shaq Barrett. You still got Vita Vea. Still got Levante David, Devin White, Sean Murphy-Bunting's coming back. You got Antoine Winfield in the backfield. So and then you got Joe Tryon, second-year player, another year in the defensive scheme. I think Bruce Arians' loss or moving into the front office is a bigger deal than people are making it. But I think Todd Bowles just essentially taking over the team and running what I would suppose would be the same team as Bruce Arians, as they've made it to the NFC Championship 2 years. Yeah, 2 years in a row, or just, no, 1 year. And then they lost in the division last year to the Rams, and then this year. So 1 year in the just 2 great overall seasons. Essentially, you have Tom Brady as well, but Bruce Arians, I believe, played a good role in that, getting that defense to come around the hump. And then, Tom Brady obviously attracts the offensive pieces. But moving on to week 5, take the game against the Raiders. I just think the Chiefs have a better Raiders team, other than having Devontae Adams and Max Crosby. But you got Justin Reed in the backfield, like I said. Patrick Mahomes is a better Derek Carr. You got Travis Kelce, who's a better Darren Waller. You got Chris Jones, who's a better defensive lineman than probably Max Crosby. I guess you could say Max Crosby adds a better or more value to himself as a pass rusher, but Chris Jones, what he can do in both the pass and run, severely helped that Chiefs defense. And I just think Chiefs will overpower the Raiders both times this year, except for I have them losing in week 18, so I guess I'm a liar. Moving on to the Bills game, I think the Bills get the revenge this year. I do believe that this is not going to be really as close as it was, especially with the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill. And the Bills just essentially getting better, getting Von Miller, who's older but can still provide value at his age to a team that is just, literally one play away. Or I guess it depends on if you look at before overtime, because most people attribute it to the coin toss. But either way, one play, one coin toss away from probably going to the Super Bowl, considering Bengals didn't play all that well against the Chiefs, but, ended up bringing it out and then losing the Super Bowl to the Rams. Going on to week 7, I think they beat the 49ers. I don't think Trey Lance is as comfortable as people want him to be by this time. I think he will get it there towards the end of the season, but right now I don't think he will, and I think it'll cost him a lot of games at the beginning of the season. But that defense without a good, back end, I guess you could say, with not very, like playmaking safeties or corners. You have obviously Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and then of course the defensive rookie of the year 2 years ago, and Nick Bosa. Just makes it hard, especially with the Chiefs, like I said earlier, being a pass-first offense this year, I would assume, unless Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jerick McKinnon make a huge jump in training camp this year. But I do believe the Chiefs end up pulling this one out. And then week 8's their bye. Week 9, they play the Tennessee Titans. I don't think Derrick Henry's going to have the rumble, stumble, tumble, bowl through people years that he has in the last few years. But I do believe they will still be competitive this year. A little bit. But I don't think there's much, debate on the Titans-Chiefs game. I think the Chiefs obviously pull that one out. And then week 10, they have the Jags. Don't need to really explain that one. The Jags just have not taken that step yet. Week 11 against the Chargers, I think they picked this game up as I had them losing in week 2 the Chargers before. I do believe they picked this game up against the Chargers. I think it's just, and it's weird because I have both of them winning in the opposing stadium. But that's how I see it playing out this year. Week 12, they beat the Rams. I think by this point, Rams are already, I mean, just okay. Let me rephrase this. I do believe the Chiefs will catch the. I just can't give this game to the Rams. I just can't give this game to the Rams. For some reason in my gut, I feel like the Chiefs will beat the Rams this year. Even though I love Matt Stafford, I love Cooper Kupp, I love the Rams in general, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Cam Akers. I love. I can't. I just something in me. Anyway, I believe the Chiefs ran the revenge tour on the Bengals because the Bengals beat them twice last year. I think the Bengals had a lot of luck going their way, but I also think they are a very good team. They have a very young, very good core amount of players on that team. But I do believe the Chiefs, just play the run bench game and get that game on them. Week 14, I have them beating the Broncos. I have them taking both games against the Broncos, which I don't think will happen, but we'll leave it like this for now. I just don't think the Broncos have the high-flying defense like the Chiefs have the high-flying offense. I know I've said that their offense isn't going to be as good without Tyreek Hill, but obviously it's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still going to be able to pinpoint the ball to Juju and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Sky Moore and the likes of those. Even McCall Hardman. I can't believe I forgot about McCall Hardman, who is the only wide receiver returning from that Super Bowl team a few years ago. But I do believe they will get both games on the Broncos. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos take one of those. I'm assuming it would be this game in Week 14 as they are at home. But we'll have to see. Week 15, I have them taking the game against the Texans. I just don't think I really need to explain that one, nor the game in Week 16 against the Seahawks. I just don't think Drew Lock's going to be as competitive as Russell Wilson on the Seahawks. I mean, obviously, the Broncos traded for him for a reason. But I think the Seahawks had way more chances to win with Russell Wilson. And I don't know what the Seahawks are doing. They just gave DK Metcalf a 3-year contract. I mean, they got Tyler Lockett. They traded for Jamal Adams, 2 years ago. I just don't know what the Seahawks are doing. Then they just trade their franchise cornerstone away. So, obviously, it's a bit of a rebuild, but how far are you going to go into that rebuild? You know what I mean? Anyway, Week 17, I obviously talked about the Broncos and Chiefs a little bit earlier for Week 14, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the Chiefs won in Week 14 and the Broncos picked this one up in Week 17. It'll just have to see how this plays out. Obviously, if the Chiefs are up at 14-3 by this time, they might sit their starters Week 17 and Week 18. But Week 17, I believe they will still be in the chase for the division. Or they will still, be neck and neck with the Chargers for the division. So. And then Week 18, I think they sit the starters, unless they really do have the division on the line at this point. But I don't think it will be. Raiders are going to be a good team. It's crazy that the whole AFC West decided to load up on offense and defense this offseason with J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack going to the Chargers, Chandler Jones going to the Raiders, Randy Gregory going to the Broncos, and then the Chiefs kind of just sitting still. Not really getting better, but maintaining the same strengths on defense as Justin Reed comes in, and I'm assuming just fills the role for Tyrann Mathieu. But that's going to be it. I have the Chiefs sitting at 14-3, the 5th seed at this point in the AFC conference, as I have the Chargers winning the AFC West this year. But you guys will see that not today, but Thursday. Yeah, Thursday you will see the Chargers video. But without further ado, I don't think I have anything else for you. I don't think I have any big comments, concerns about the Chiefs. Nope. So make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I almost said comment button. Make sure to comment down below what you guys think I missed here, what you guys think I got spot on. Most importantly,